What if the person closest to you has been deliberately rewriting your reality and you never noticed? Not through force, not through obvious lies, but through a set of carefully crafted psychological tactics so subtle, most people never even see them coming. Research from the American Psychological Association estimates that roughly 6% of the general population meets the clinical criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. That's 1 in 16 people. And the ones who are toxic don't announce themselves. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 most common manipulation tactics used by narcissists, not to scare you, but to protect you, because awareness is the only real defense. Stay until tactic number 5. It's the one most people dismiss as just a personality quirk, but it's actually one of the most psychologically damaging patterns on this list. Before we get into the tactics, a quick but important framing. Not every difficult person in your life is a narcissist. The word gets thrown around loosely, and that actually makes it harder to recognize the real thing. What we're talking about today is a specific pattern of behavior, one that psychiatrists and psychologists have documented extensively, characterized by a chronic need for control, admiration, and a fundamental lack of empathy. These tactics aren't accidents, they're mechanisms, and once you can name them, they lose most of their power over you. Let's start with number 1. Tactic number 1. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is the systematic denial of your reality. The name comes from a 1944 psychological thriller where a husband dims the gas lights in the house and then tells his wife she's imagining the flicker. In practice, it sounds like this. That never happened. You're way too sensitive. You're remembering it wrong. Everyone agrees with me. It's just you. Narcissists use gaslighting because it attacks the one thing you need to resist them, your own judgment. If they can make you doubt your memory, your perceptions, your emotional responses, they become the only reliable narrator in your life. Over time, victims of sustained gaslighting often describe feeling like they're going crazy, anxious, confused, and increasingly dependent on the narcissist to tell them what's real. What can you do? Keep a private record. Journal dates, conversations, what was said. The gaslighter depends on your memory being unreliable. Written records break that leverage. Tactic number 2. Love bombing. Love bombing is the opening move, the bait before the trap. It's an overwhelming flood of affection, attention, compliments, and gifts at the very start of a relationship. Everything feels too good to be true, because it is. They call you their soulmate after 2 weeks. They talk about the future constantly. They make you feel uniquely seen, chosen, special. This creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, a pattern where extreme highs are followed by withdrawal and coldness. Your brain, wired to seek the reward that was there before, works harder and harder to get back to that initial feeling. It's the same mechanism behind gambling addiction. The inconsistency is the hook. What can you do? Slow down. Genuine connection builds gradually. If someone's intensity in the first weeks feels disproportionate to how long you've known them, that's data, not romance. Tactic number 3. Triangulation. Triangulation is the introduction of a third party, real or imagined, to create jealousy, competition, and insecurity. It might sound like, "My ex never complained about this." "Everyone at work thinks you're overreacting." "She's just a friend. Why are you so insecure?" Triangulation serves 2 functions simultaneously. First, it makes you feel replaceable, which pushes you to try harder to earn their approval. Second, it positions the narcissist as the desirable center of multiple people's attention, feeding their ego while destabilizing yours. The third party doesn't even need to exist. The implication is enough. What can you do? Refuse to compete. The moment you engage with the comparison, defending yourself against the invisible rival, you've accepted the frame they set up. Name the pattern instead. "I notice you often bring up other people when we disagree. Can we focus on what's between us?" Tactic number 4. DARVO. DARVO stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Offender. It was named by researcher Jennifer Freed at the University of Oregon, and it describes one of the most disorienting tactics in the narcissist's playbook. Here's what it looks like in practice. You confront them about something hurtful they did. Within seconds, they've denied it happened, attacked your character for bringing it up, and somehow positioned themselves as the real victim of your unfair accusation. DARVO is so effective because it happens fast, faster than most people can process. By the time you've recovered from the attack, you're defending yourself against accusations you never made. The original issue has been completely buried. Many victims of DARVO end up apologizing for confronting behavior that was done to them. That is the intended outcome. What can you do? Recognize the pivot. The moment a conversation flips from what you did to who you are as a person, that's DARVO in action. You are allowed to say, I'm not going to respond to that. I want to stay on the original topic. Tactic number 5, the silent treatment. This is the tactic I mentioned at the beginning, the one most people dismiss as just how they deal with conflict. The silent treatment is deliberate emotional withdrawal as punishment, not a healthy need for space after an argument, but a calculated shutdown designed to make you feel invisible, anxious, and desperate for resolution. The distinction is intent. Space after an argument is healthy. Silence deployed to punish, to force an apology, or to make you prove your devotion through increasingly frantic attempts to reconnect, that is manipulation. For most people, social rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Researchers at UCLA using fMRI imaging confirm this. The narcissist is essentially using your own neurobiology against you, creating pain that only they can relieve. The person who ends the silence first often ends up apologizing, even when they did nothing wrong. What can you do? Don't chase. Respond once, clearly and calmly. I'm here when you're ready to talk. Then disengage. Chasing the silent treatment reinforces it as an effective tactic. Stability on your end is the only leverage you have. Tactic number 6, isolation. Isolation is a slow, methodical process of dismantling your external support systems, friends, family, colleagues, until the narcissist becomes your primary emotional reference point. It rarely looks aggressive at first. It starts with small comments. I feel like your friends don't really respect you. Your sister always causes drama. Maybe some distance would be good. You seem so much calmer when it's just the two of us. Isolation achieves two things at once. It removes outside perspectives that might challenge the narcissist's narrative, and it makes you materially dependent on them. If they're your only close relationship, the cost of leaving becomes almost unbearable. This is why isolation is considered one of the most dangerous patterns on this list. It's the tactic most associated with escalating abuse because it removes the safety nets. What can you do? Protect your relationships aggressively. If someone consistently creates friction between you and the people you love, that pattern is information. Reach out to the people you've been drifting from. Reconnect. Your network is your safety net. Tactic number 7, intermittent reinforcement. Intermittent reinforcement is the psychological engine that keeps you locked in a cycle with a narcissist long after every rational signal is telling you to leave. It works like this. The relationship alternates, unpredictably, between warmth and coldness, affection and withdrawal, kindness and cruelty. You never know which version of them you're going to get. This is not a metaphor. This is a well-documented psychological phenomenon first identified by B.F. Skinner in behavioral experiments. Unpredictable rewards create stronger and more persistent behavior than consistent ones. Slot machines are designed on exactly this principle. In a relationship context, every moment of warmth becomes disproportionately meaningful because you never knew when it was coming. Every cruelty is rationalized because the good moments felt so real. This is why intelligent, self-aware people stay in relationships they know are damaging them. It's not weakness, it's neuroscience. What can you do? Name the pattern to yourself. Write it out if you have to. Good, bad, good, cold, loving, disappearing, kind, cruel. Seeing the cycle on paper makes it harder to explain away each instance as a one-off. 7 tactics, one common thread running through all of them: control, not the obvious kind, the quiet kind. The kind that works by making you doubt yourself more than you doubt them. The good news is that awareness changes everything. You cannot unsee these patterns once you know their names, and knowledge is the one thing a narcissist cannot take from you if you choose to hold on to it. If this video resonated with something you're experiencing, I'd encourage you to speak to a therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse recovery. The patterns we've talked about today can have real and lasting psychological effects, and you don't have to navigate that alone. If you found this useful, subscribe. I publish videos on psychology, behavior, and the hidden patterns shaping how we think every week. The next video goes deep into the psychology of why we stay in harmful relationships and what actually breaks the cycle. I'll see you there.